Hello, how are you? This is Matthew from Love Buddy. This is another LoveCast. We do this every day, 10 p.m. New York time, 10 a.m. Philippines time, which is where I'm at right now. Today is Tuesday, the 18th of June, 2019. Hope you're having a wonderful time. Hope you're having a life filled with love. That's what we focus on over here at Love Buddy. That's what our job is. That's what our work is to understand love and share the love and learn about love, share what we know, get more information from other people. There's something they know because love is open, love is always learning, love is always changing. Our understanding of love is always changing. Love itself, I think, it never changes. Love is always there, love is unconditional. So we tap into that love, we feel that love, we become aware of that love. And some days we're not so aware, right? Some days we don't feel so loving. And that's the time that we really need to be able to go back to that center, to that foundation of love, and let love guide us. Let love fill us with compassion, with calmness. Sometimes it's hard. It's hard for me sometimes. Had a discussion the other day with my wife to be, and it was hard. It was hard because we had some disagreement. We had some different cultures. We have some different lifestyles. She's a lot younger than I am. Her first language is not English. And I don't speak any of her languages. She can speak four. And she's younger than I, from a different country, different culture, different style. And so we've been together now for 6 months, and it's going really, really, really great. It's fantastic. And we use love. We fall back on love. And I think what we're going to start doing is formally every day. You know how people study the Bible or how they study different daily, what is it, daily inspirations and things like that. We're going to, there are 68 different qualities for love. I think what we're going to start doing is making it a little bit more formal, maybe before we go to sleep or when we wake up, probably before we go to sleep, to go over one of those and discuss it and talk about it and bring it to life by creating examples and having a discussion about what that particular quality of love can be. Like patience, for example. We've been talking lately and I lose my patience, and I have to remind myself and say, wait a second, I'm being impatient with her conversation style, and we're trying to get the answer that I want. I'm like that. I mean, I'm kind of like that sometimes. And so I need to remind myself, I need to take a deep breath, relax, and remember, be patient, be compassionate, be kind, be empathetic, be respectful. And these are things that I really need to do, that I really need to remember. And they will go a long way. And so far, they have gone a really long way with this relationship. So, okay, getting to the point here. I'm blabbling on and on, but I just wanted to share what's going on with you in my life right now, because it's quite relevant. What about the prison system, though? Love and the prison system. That's the official topic for today. And I just thought I would share some of the ideas about love and about punishment and about the prison system. Some people use the phrase tough love. And this has come up before in some of these love casts where a lot of times, you can be focused, you can be insistent, you can be persistent, you can hold someone accountable, and that can be tough love. But if you're being rude, you're being abusive, you're being hurtful, you're disempowering the person, you're humiliating the person, you're hurting the person, that isn't tough love. That's not love at all. That's something else. What about the prison system when it tries? Let's look at a really easy example now. One of the things that's been going on lately is people who have been caught smoking marijuana, in possession of marijuana. Maybe they were selling marijuana, so they had more than personal use on them, in their car, in their trunk, whatever, and then getting thrown in jail there have been life sentences. Stay in prison, stay in a cage until you die. Get treated very rudely by the staff there, and also, live in horrible conditions with horrible food around people that are not going to be very nice. I mean, maybe people can make some friends in prison, but in general, the people there are aggravated, upset, and maybe a lot of them are, angry at the world, dysfunctional. Maybe they're there because they hurt people. So you're in prison for smoking, pot, smoking weed, and what does that teach someone? What does that help? What's the benefit there? Guy who runs a prison, now the prison system in America, I don't know about every prison facility. I know a lot of them, and more of them, business is booming. And per capita, in the USA, more people are incarcerated than in any other country. I even think by the numbers, there are more people in prison in America than there are in all of China. And China's got like 4 times the population. Yeah. So there's something wrong there if we think that the prison system is a good thing. I don't think it's good at all. I don't think it's, just from the standpoint that it's not helping anybody. And someone who's smoking pot, they're not hurting anybody. Now, drinking alcohol has been proven to be a lot more dangerous. Smoking cigarettes has been proven to cause cancer. Marijuana has not. People drinking and driving, or people even drinking at home or whatever, alcohol is much, much more dangerous and has damaged many more lives. And a lot of people, when they get drunk, get angry. It's called an angry drunk. That's why we have a phrase that's called that. People will beat their wives or beat their husbands or beat their kids or do horrible things on alcohol, which you can buy anywhere, all the time practically. You can just buy alcohol. It's completely free to use. No restriction on it. Can't operate a motor vehicle. Certain things you can't do, drinking in public in most places, you can't do that. But so alcohol being much more, well, you know this, right? And now marijuana is becoming legalized and becoming decriminalized because, oops, somebody made a big mistake. And the people that are enforcing that, this mentality of the enforcers is one that is extremely detrimental to society. It's extremely detrimental to humanity. It destroys lives. People that say, hey, I'm just doing my job. I'm just following the law. And most of the enforcers, whether they're the military that are sent to murder someone they don't know in another country, and innocent children even, or police officers or sheriffs, CIA, FBI, DEA, wow, what these guys will do to a human being that's just trying to smoke pot. And these guys are not really, they're doing their job kind of like an executioner does their job. You got to be cold-hearted. You've got to be insensitive. You've got to be completely lacking any compassion for the people that you're arresting and throwing in a cage, especially when they're not doing anything wrong. Now, what if we do have somebody who's they're a rapist, they're a pedophile? These things, these sex-related things seem to really, really get to people. These come up more than somebody who eats people. These get people more pissed off. It's a sensitive topic for people. Okay, what do you do with those guys? What should we do? Is the prison system, is that a loving solution? Now, we can be loving because that's how complete love is. That's how effective love is. That's how powerful and useful and wonderful love is. Yes, we can be loving to someone who's a rapist or a pedophile or even somebody who kills people and eats them, because we want to be loving about everybody, about everything, all the time. But what is love in this situation? Is it torture? Is it revenge? Is it hate? Is it anger? Is it punishment? None of those things are love. None of those things are love. Compassion is love. And real love, if you understand love, you'll know that you'll be compassionate to the victims. How do you be compassionate to the victims? Well, you protect people from this guy. Let's say the guy's a pedophile. Let's say the kids are walking to school and they're walking past a pedophile's house or somebody who's been accused of this or that. Make sure the kids are protected from this guy. And if you do catch this guy, you prevent him from being able to do that again. If you murder a murderer, how are you any different? Because you feel self-righteous about it? Is that why? Because they did it first? This concept of an eye for an eye is one of the most ridiculous concepts that's ever come out of any stupid book in existence. An eye for an eye, like God, he said, will make the whole world blind. So do you want to punish somebody for what they did? One thing that has been found out, people that are violent, a lot of times they're violent because they've been raised in a violent environment. They've been abused themselves. So because of the reason that they have been abused, because they've been hurt, that's why they're doing that. They're acting out. You know, the act of sexually abusing a child, no one's going to challenge that that's a horrible, horrible thing. But beating somebody up is also a horrible thing. No matter how much you demonize somebody, no matter how much you play over and over in your mind the hurt that they caused to someone else, look at the hurt that you're causing by putting them in prison, by punishing them, by disrespecting them, by causing them harm. You think they need that? You think that's going to help? When someone knows they're guilty, when someone knows they're wrong, they know they're wrong. When they're conscious about that, they know they did the wrong thing. And they know that they'll be held accountable. Accountability, self-accountability, is one of the key qualities of love. Yeah, I did it. I'm sorry, I was wrong. Do you realize that you did this? I saw you do that. I saw your hand in the cookie jar. I saw you do that thing. I'm holding you accountable for that. I'm holding you responsible for that. Now, what are you going to do? How are you going to compensate? How are you going to make up for that? Are you going to own up to that? Are you going to admit that? So what does it take to prevent somebody from hurting children like a pedophile might? What do we do? Do we put them in prison? Yeah, that's one way to stop them from being a pedophile anymore. Who knows what they might do there? They might have other problems where they might do other bad things to people. That's one way to do it. But what we're doing is we're preventing this person from contributing to society when maybe they could contribute in a whole lot of ways. A lot of people have been caught, for example, with child porn on their computer, and then they get arrested and thrown in jail for that. I know of a guy whose wife planted that. They were having a nasty divorce, a horrible divorce, and she planted child porn on his computer. He got caught with that. He didn't do it. And then he went to jail for that. And he can't get out. So this is a guy who was doing research on that kind of a topic. It was some kind of paper, I guess, some research that he was doing as a PhD or something like that. So is somebody who's doing their doctorate dissertation, is this somebody who should be thrown in prison for that? Somebody smoking pot, should they go to prison forever? Should they be tied up and beaten by the police? Somebody who's resisting, saying, hey, I didn't do anything wrong, come on. And if they don't respond right away, or even if they do respond right away, we've all seen the videos of police standing around and just kicking the guy and beating the crap out of the guy, and they've got their knee on his throat. I mean, they've strangled guys to death before. There are very famous cases of them. Or a guy goes to reach for his ID, sitting right next to his wife, and the police blow him away. So this mentality about these guys are dangerous, these guys are so bad. No, not that many people are that bad. And if they are going to hurt people, then we prevent them from hurting people, whether it's a house arrest, whether it's one of those collars you can wear, whether it's a place where people can still study and learn and grow and contribute to society and have a life that's normal, except for the fact that they did that thing wrong. And people around them know that they have a tendency to do that. What happened to O.J. Simpson? O.J. Simpson's wife had called the police. He had got physical with her before. He had gotten violent with her before. And when she called the police the day that she died, I think it was the same day, she said something like, you know who this is. You know about what this is going on, because she's called the police so many times about it. But no action was taken because the system is not set up to nurture people, to show compassion, and to enforce accountability when someone is raising hell, when they're causing trouble, when they're hurting people. Do you have formal charges, blah, 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 the police go by this thing. And a lot of it has to do with how much money the person has, how powerful they are, how famous they are. Things like that can get in the way of really holding someone accountable. And the idea behind accountability is that others should know what's going on, what this person did. We don't hold secrets. We don't keep secrets about the dirty things, the dirty tricks that people do, especially the government, especially government agencies. They live under a cloak of secrecy, some of these people's entire organizations that are funded with American tax dollars. And they're doing all kinds of stuff that's illegal, that's immoral, that's unethical, that's destructive, that's dirty, dirty tricks. So accountability is exposing that. And this is what people like Bradley Manning try to do. Edward Snowden did a great job and still is doing a great job. So people that expose the dirty tricks and the evil doings are really holding people accountable. They're really standing up for what's right. What about Julian Assange? Now the bad guys who don't want to be accountable, they don't want to be caught for the things that they're doing, the evil things, the dirty tricks that they're pulling, the secret campaigns, the lies that they're telling the American public. They don't want to get caught doing that. And somebody who does that, they punish them, man, they chase them down, man, they imprison them, they hurt them as much as they can. Because that's what these guys do. And these guys are not being held accountable by 350 million Americans. They're not doing anything about the people that are punishing those that are exposing them, those that are catching them and holding them accountable. So it's really topsy-turvy. Got a lot of people doing a lot of things in position of power that are not being accountable because people are not being loving. Loving is standing up and saying, wait a second, you did that, that's wrong. And other people need to know that. That's what happened with the Pentagon Papers. I forgot the guy's name. Wrote papers and copied, Xeroxed a lot of papers to expose what had happened, the lies that were being told to the American people about how horrible things were going in the war in Vietnam, the invasion and the attack by the U.S. in the Vietnam. None of their business to go over there. And what did they do? They lost. America failed miserably. We lost that war. Most Americans don't know that. They're not willing to admit that because that's part of war. A lot of lies and deception. And there's no accountability there. So when it comes to someone who's a pedophile, hold them accountable. Look, people, whoever needs to know is going to know that you did that so that they can protect themselves, so that they can protect their children, so that they can know what you did. Sorry, no secrets for you, pal. You did what you did, and you got to live with that, and you can't hide from that. Number two, we're going to prevent you, whatever it takes. People talk about even castration, things like that. I don't know. I don't have an opinion about that. I think it's kind of a brutal, abusive thing to do. It's a brutal operation, but if it stops somebody from hurting other people and the guy can still live a normal life in every other way, maybe that's okay. I don't know. We have to go case by case. And I definitely don't want to endorse being brutal to someone. And I don't know if castration is, I don't know how damaging that is. But different things like that can really, someone who's, it's kind of like someone who's abusing their car. Maybe they're not obeying traffic laws. Take the car away. Can't have a car now, or you can't have a car for a while. Give you the car back for a little bit. If we had a sense of community, if people were loving in their community, holding each other accountable for their behavior, there wouldn't be this great anonymity that goes on, this abandonment, people don't care about other people. They don't pay attention. That's not my problem. Some guy's beating up a girl in the parking lot. No, it's not mine. Just keep walking. Don't do it. Don't get involved. That's not loving. That's abandonment. That's cowardly. And if we're holding each other accountable, if we're accountable ourselves, and if we're loving, we're consistent and persistently being love, we don't allow people to hurt other people. Prison system doesn't really need to exist in that case, or it could be probably 1% the size that it is right now, because I think something like 50% are nonviolent offenders. Somebody who, did some accounting thing. Okay, we know that you cheated the company of $5 million and you spent that on prostitutes or trips to Vegas or whatever you did. Okay, we know you did that, and any future employer is going to know that you did that. But that doesn't mean the person can't find some kind of a job doing something somewhere and living a normal life. Prison system is really turning out recidivism at a very high rate. People go in, they come out, they do it again, they go back again. People are career criminals. And that's not the way it should be working. And that's not the way it works if you apply love, if you apply nurturing, if you apply accountability. People aren't going to be in and out of the prison system. But most of the time we aren't loving to people. We aren't nurturing. We don't care about the people around us. We're not taught to do that. And we're not held accountable to do that. So we have this system where we throw people in cages. And there are people that serve a sentence for 35 years for something they never did because somebody didn't follow up on the DNA evidence, or they didn't have DNA evidence. I mean, this happens a lot. This comes up in the news a lot, where someone is sitting and rotting in prison and they did nothing wrong ever. And that happens a lot. And people are executed. People are murdered by the government, by the local government, by the state. They're murdered. They're put in a chair and electrocuted to death. Or they're tied down to a bed and they're injected with something that's going to first cause excruciating pain and then it's going to kill them. A lot of times it's something they didn't do. And a lot of times what they did wasn't really that bad. And if it was that bad, murdering them is not the solution. So nurturing and compassion is really completely missing from this penal system. And I think the prison system is an incredibly cruel, unfair, unproductive, horrible, unworking system that needs to be completely ripped up and thrown away and replaced with something that really makes sense, something that really works. And you know what? Because of money, people are opening new prisons all the time. I think there are more prisons. I think they spend more money on prisons than they do on education now in America. Some ridiculous numbers. I don't have the exact numbers, but people are making money off of prisons. Open a prison, that's a business now. So with the influence of money, we're going to talk about money one of these days really soon, and the influence, what it causes, the effects that money causes. People are motivated to overlook being ethical, being honest, being constructive, having integrity. They overlook that. They overlook what their heart tells them. They close the door on what their heart is telling them, that this is wrong, so they can make money. Hey man, guys got to make a living. Wow. Okay, so that's it for today. This is Matthew from Love Buddy. This is another LoveCast here every day, 10 p.m. New York time, 10 a.m. Philippines time. Thanks so much for listening. I love you. Have a wonderful day. See you tomorrow.